So I'm a little surprised. I thought that the AMD Vega would be a pretty powerful graphics card, and after I'm looking into what this stuff says, sometimes it doesn't even beat the 1080, and that's a little scary for me. I thought, I had people recommending, before I got this computer right back here in my main one, I had people come up to me. They're like, "Hey, wait! So make sure you wait up and see what happens when the Vega comes out." And I'm looking at it now, and it's pretty much the equivalent of the 1080. I got the 1080 Ti in here right now, and it's, I mean, from what I'll show you all the stuff in a couple seconds, but you can see that it's pretty clearly that the Vega did not actually beat the 1080 any bit, and it's very expensive too. So for once I'm actually glad that I got the 1080 Ti instead. But yeah, let's get into some of the specifications real quick and show you guys exactly what it looks like. So there's been some people online that have gone through and tested it in some different games. They've gone through and tested it in Battlefield. They've gone through and run a bunch of tests. And while each card is like a different thing, none of them beat the 1080 Ti. And the thing is, I would expect for something that costs, I'm looking at one right now, $1,500. And the graphics card I got, the 1080 Ti, I got it for $650 off of Amazon. And you think that something that is almost triple the price is going to be better, but it appears in gaming it's not. And I understand it's a workstation card and stuff, but still it just makes me wonder. Everybody was telling me wait, make sure you keep your money until that comes out. And now it finally came out. Obviously I got my computer a good bit ago, and still it's what was I expecting? It was very disappointing. And apparently I hope you guys don't go out and buy something or buy the Vega just specifically for gaming, because I know the Bitcoin miners are out there using all the cards, so I'd give it a couple weeks or so. But I feel everybody was really hype about something. It turned out to be a pretty bad letdown, especially because I know it's supposed to be for work for companies and stuff to do video rendering and stuff, but still I was expecting something different. I'm sorry. So yeah, let's get into some of the specifications real quick and show you guys exactly why and how it performs better, etc. Because we're going to be comparing it to the 1080, because that's about what it's equal to. And the 1080 Ti, it gets an extra 30 frames sometimes. So basically, they average both the 1080 Ti or the 1080 and the Vega average about 60 FPS in some common games, and then the 1080 Ti gets an extra 30 FPS, so it's averaging 90 FPS. So there's a big difference. So we're going to have to hop in here real quick and we'll show you guys exactly what's going on. So here we are again, guys. We're looking right here, and this is a website, obviously user benchmark, and it just goes through and allows people to submit with their benchmark skits and stuff. And you can see, obviously $1,000 for pretty much $500, almost $100 more or $100 less than what I currently have, the Ti. And you can look at it and you can see that the benchmarks pretty much say the general thing. Obviously this is going to be better for certain situations, when you're doing a professional task, and that's what the card is for. But a lot of people were planning on using it for gaming, and you look at it and it appears that you can look at this data right here. It appears that it's not that big of a difference. The difference in the data right here. Oh crap! Whoops, wrong thing. Look, you can see the data. There's a difference in how it's not that big of a difference. Now, if I were to switch it to Ti, which I happened to have, you can tell there's a very, very, as you can see, much faster effective speed. It's just a huge difference. You can see that this is talking about almost, yeah, it's just completely crazy. So as you can tell, it's a little crazy. You can see that obviously the Vega Frontier Edition, and just in plain benchmarks itself, completely beats out the card right here, and that's just completely crazy, especially because in gaming. And now let's switch over to some FPS and to see some games in FPS situations. Okay, so here we are back, and I finally found some good enough data to explain this. But you can clearly see here that there is some serious, and I mean serious, difference. Obviously it's not a big difference in frames. Obviously there's some games that the Vega does better than the 1080. But keep in mind, this is not the 1080 Ti. This is just the 1080, which is a fourth of the price. So just keep that in mind, as if you're gonna go out and buy the Vega just because you want to get the Vega, keep in mind the 1080 is pretty much almost, actually it beats it in a good amount of them is actually, you know, a third of the price, and it competes pretty much the same. I'd say same, because it did worse here, but you know, it looks like it. I'd say that they're pretty much equal in a general sense. And then, you know, the worst part is the 1080 Ti, which is almost like $100 more, is pretty much, you know, off the charts. I didn't include it in here, but pretty much it gets an extra 30 FPS just in general, or at least half of it. I mean, 1080 Ti is definitely worth it if you're gonna get this for gaming. If you're obviously don't, from what this says basically, just don't get it for gaming. Don't get the Vega for gaming, if that's what you're solely getting it for, because this is just like it's complete disaster if you're gonna go spend, you know, almost $15,000 if you're gonna get the water cooled one just to go, you know, get something for gaming when you could get the 1080 Ti's for like, I don't know, $1,200 and pretty much probably like crushed any of this. So just keep that in mind, guys. I hope this video helped you guys. If you guys like these kind of videos or any other things like that, check out my channel. I have a whole bunch of cool stuff on there as well about benchmarks and other stuff, technology related stuff. So thank you.